Well, hello there. Welcome
hello.
back to the Triforce. Question mark on the road? Question mark in the morning? Flax, let's hear how bad this microphone is.
This is what you've got. This is what we have to work with. It's not great. It's not great, but
it's the new normal. We're just gonna have to.
It's only for 1 week. For
We're
1 week,
to get used to
suck it up. We gotta get used to it. Yeah.
Well, until next week. I'll be back next week.
Yeah, then that'll be the new normal. How many new normals do I have to suffer through?
I'm sorry, buddy. This is not as bad as some that I've recorded on the road podcasts with. I don't think.
No, it's bad, but I mean, it's classic though. It's like old school gaming mic chat.
Exactly.
You know, it's fine. I'm sure it'd be better if you just filmed yourself on your camera like you do for your vlogs in the morning. That's lovely.
I only
quality.
did that 3 times.
Oh, did you only do 3?
Yeah, I can't. I can't be bothered to do more. The only reason I do them really is to get over jet lag because I wake up at 5 in the morning with nothing to do. So I think, well, I'll fucking do that. And then once I start having a roughly normal schedule, I'm not going to fucking not go down for breakfast with everybody because I've got to record my vlog, and then uploading it takes like an hour. So I just thought, fuck it, I'll stop.
Fair enough. I still love seeing you in your dressing gown and. With your thoughts on the world. It does seem like jet-lagged P-Flax. I feel a little bit like that right now because obviously you're there for Dota. I've been staying up and completely ruined my sleep schedule watching some of it.
Oh, man. It's been honestly, the weird thing is I know a lot of the criticism that there's been on Reddit and in person, because at the event we've had people coming up to us and complaining.
Really? Like, what kind of stuff? What do they say? Like, hey, guys, fuck you, fucking... you fucking motherfuckers.
That kind of stuff. But
yeah, like low key like that too. I'd be scared of someone.
Well, that's the gist of it. The gist of it, but the complaint is basically, I don't know if you know, but this TI it's in Singapore. Obviously, that's why I'm in Singapore, and it's split over 2 weekends. So last weekend we had 4 days of Dota, and genuinely some of the best TI Dota I've ever seen. Like mind-blowingly good. Some incredible games, incredible series, great storylines. Really high quality of play, and there's so many storylines going on because a lot of these teams, it's like their whole year is boiling down to this, and for some of them this is like retirement TI, this is it, and all the rest of it. So it's a pretty storied event in that regard.
It is funny watching these 15-year-olds talk about retirement. I've got to say, yeah. It always gives me a laugh because it's such bullshit as well, because they keep coming back and back and back. Everyone who's promised to retire is still playing, is still coaching, you see them all the fucking time.
Yeah,
and they're taking over. It's funny, but yeah. Anyway, carry on.
I take it with a pinch of salt as well. So there's that, and the games are really good. But this year, so they had it at the Suntech Conference Center. That's where the first 4 days of games were played, and it didn't feel like a TI. To be fair, they had a very cool stage that rotated. So you had the players at the front, set on 2 sides, and then. They were sort of, if you can imagine that the whole thing that they're on rotates, and there's another set of players behind them. So there's like 4 sets of players. So you have 2 sets of players facing the stage, and then the other 2 sets of players set up their equipment for the next map.
Is it like those rotating like toilets or whatever that you'd see in movies back in the day? There'd be some toilet or something, and it would on a stage, and it would rotate, and it would be like a guy, and he'd be like, oh, read the newspaper,
sure,
and then it would rotate back around again. What am I thinking?
That sounds great.
I don't know, but yes,
that sounds like a Monty Python.
That's what I'm thinking of.
But it meant that the turnover between games was really quick, because normally you have like 25 minutes, half an hour. They got to get all their keyboards, they got to get everything just right, so they can get all that done behind the stage, which is great. So the turnover of games has been really fast. But that means there's been no soundproof booths this year. So some of the players have complained that they've been able to hear the commentators, and that's not great. And so that was one complaint. And then to get around that, they sort of put headphones on the players that were like more soundproofed, but then they also turned down the audio in the arena, so people in the arena couldn't hear the commentary. So that wasn't great. Also, this wasn't in a stadium. This was just like on a flat conference hall with a stage at one end. So it's just all chairs like you'd have at a wedding. So that kind of sucked away the TI atmosphere. There's been no content really this year at all. There's normally like the player profile movies and all that kind of stuff. All that was missing. So a lot of people feel like if you compare this to TIs of yesteryear, it feels like an earlier TI in terms of the production. So that's been something the fans have been complaining about.
What's the prize pool for TI this year?
We don't know yet.
Oh, is it still?
No,
still
Valve haven't
accumulating?
released it. But that was another thing. The Battle Pass this year, or they hadn't at the time this is going to press anyway, as it were. The Battle Pass this year. Normally, what happens is the Battle Pass comes out way before TI. People spend ages playing at it, and the money accumulated over the course of that Battle Pass's lifetime goes towards TI, a chunk of it. So this year the Battle Pass is split. So we're having some of it now, then we're having TI, and then we're having more Battle Pass stuff. So a lot of the money that the Battle Pass makes won't go into the TI prize pool, which was the first time I've ever seen that happen, to my knowledge. So yeah, kind of odd, and people were wondering about that. And also the panel, so the analysts and the not the casters are here, but everyone else, the host, all of it is done remotely from Norway. So Shiva and all of those guys are out in Norway presenting the tournament from there, and then you have the casters, me, Flax, and Casey. That's the only people on the ground here in Singapore,
Really?
which is also kind of that's the first time they've done it that way. So people are like, oh, I wanted to meet those people. So that's another thing that people are complaining about.
It doesn't look.
Sounds really
It looks
strange.
good
The whole setup.
from the outside. It's interesting to hear this stuff because bear in mind, like it's at a weird time. So the games for me are between like 3 a.m.
Right.
I think the grand final actually starts at 8 a.m.
Right.
7 or 8 a.m. And I got an invitation on my phone yesterday from Alex and Brian. It's the weirdest invitation. It was like, hey, dude, do you want to come round on Sunday at 3 a.m. in the morning to watch the international finals?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. And the thing is, when I read it, I thought it was actually like, because I think Alex actually said Sunday night.
Right.
So I thought that meant Monday morning at 3 a.m. Because, anyway, can you imagine if I'd fucking turned up on the wrong day? Like, first of all, I'd have to pack leave at 3 a.m. to get, like, some sort of, I don't know who does that. I'll be the only person in the world. So I guess in Norway, though, it's 3 a.m. when they're doing the casting and all the hosting. It's just crazy that they can. It is truly international, though. It's got like international players.
Mm-hmm.
They've done some interesting stuff to try and get people in. They've given I think they're aware that the community's not the happiest, so they've decided to. They just announced this yesterday. They're giving away a swag bag for every Dota player, and it's going to have a free Arcana in it, a free Arcana, which is normally like
Arcana, I think,
it's like a 30 quid. I don't want to advertise it, but well, fuck it. This is basically a Dota podcast in some ways at this point.
Only today.
But yeah, I don't know. They seem to be. They are hyper aware of their audience and stuff. And I don't know, sometimes it's like when I'm organising Jingle Jam, I'm sure some people will be like, oh, where was that thing I liked from last time? And we were like, well, that thing didn't seem that popular at the time. So we didn't think it would matter if we didn't do it.
I'd like to make them hyper aware of my balls. You know what I mean? Suck on my balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say, normally I'm all for TI, but I like when TI is in the summer. Is my first point. I like it when I used to like it when it was like in August because I could sit around and it was nice and hot, or like I could sit in the garden and watch games and stuff, when they weren't in the middle of the night. And also I liked it when TI wasn't on in the middle of the night for me as well. I haven't watched a single game, and I actually really like watching TI. And normally me watching TI means about a month or so of binging on Dota 2, which I won't be doing this year because I just haven't watched any TI. I'm just doing other stuff. It's all wrong for me.
I know.
2022 is not the year of Dota for me.
So I think that obviously we think of, I think if you think about Dota in terms of who's watching it, the biggest audience, I think, certainly for TI broadcasts on Twitch and all the rest of it is North America, Europe, and I think South America watches quite a bit. China watches a lot, but not on Twitch. I don't know. I guess they watch it on whatever their platform is. So this is a good time zone for China because, of course, it's in line with them, really. So it's great for the Chinese audience. Unfortunately for them, they only have one team in the Final Four, and PSG LGD got knocked out.
Who is in the Final Four for somebody who hasn't been watching? Who's looking good?
There's Asta, who are the Chinese team. Then you've got Team Liquid, who honestly, that's my friend Blitz, who is the coach, one of the coaches for their team. I've known him since TI3. He's a good mate of mine. Him and his girlfriend, who I also met independently of him at UK Dota events. She's a Welsh girl who played Dota for a UK team. Shout out to Reason Gaming, and she's lovely. So whenever they come over to the UK, we go out for dinner. And
you want to do a big up as well, or just shout out?
I'll give a shout out and a big up. Yeah, I would like to do that. Will is a good lad. Okay. He's a really good friend of mine. So seeing, and also I know several of the players from loads of Dota events
this week. Sorry, just before we.
That's all right.
There's only one. You can't have a personal big up.
Otherwise, we'll be here all day.
All right,
Apparently
can I just tell you the big up, and then you can tell me if it's the big up or not?
You can propose it.
I was in Cheltenham in an art gallery, and I think I was walking around, and then when I left, a gentleman came up to me, handed me a note. He said, "Here's a note." I was like, "Oh, right." I opened the note, and it said, "I have a tiny penis."
Nice. I was. There's no denying that is a contender for big up for sure.
I consider that a classy one.
That is very classy. Yeah. Was it? Did it look like it was written with a quill pen and ink, like on a parchment?
No, it was on like that classic waiter pad. Like notepad paper.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Like
not like a sticky one. Not like a sticky pad. Or was it a yellow sticky note?
You know how sometimes things in the UK, you've seen them a million times before. It's like there's one company still making them, and everyone uses that same notepad paper for being a waiter or whatever. It's very specific for all the orders in the kitchen. It's that stuff. So yeah, recognizably. Anyway, carry on, P-Flax. Sorry, I just interrupted your big up.
So Team Liquid, they're my personal sort of the team that I actually really want to see do well.
But they Swedish or they're Swedish, right?
So Liquid is, I believe, Team Liquid is based in the Netherlands. I think it's a Dutch org because a guy called Victor Goosens is the one who set it up. So I think their headquarters are in Rotterdam or somewhere like that.
Right.
But a lot of the players are Scandinavian. So Matumba Man, who was a legendary TI winning player from Finland. He's retiring after this TI. Genuinely.
For real.
Yeah, I think it's because first of all he's made a ton of money from Dotes and has probably sick of traveling. And he wants to sit on his boat and fish in the middle of a frozen lake in Finland. Like that's the dude's dream is just to chill. Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure Finland still has mandatory national service. So I assume that Matu will be in the army for a year or whatever. So I think you might be having to do that as well.
Doesn't that drive you a bit nuts? Like, because like when I think of these guys who are really good at Dota, I figure that's all they do. And I can't comprehend that they would have other hobbies outside or time for anything else other than just being really good at Dota. Because it seems so all-encompassing, right?
It does, It seems like you have to spend all your time.
I can't believe that guy just like goes out and fishes and then comes home and just owns that Dota. Like,
I mean, he's incredible.
Blows my mind.
He's probably like just last hitting those fish. He's probably like, pop into the bait shop and secret bait shop and buying.
Yeah, it's just like
Orb of Venom,
cashing out. Whatever. Yeah, he's buying divine. He's hitting those fish with the divine rapier.
Divine rod.
Yeah,
was it rod of Atos? So,
very
we got there. There was a joke.
Very good.
we got there slowly.
There's like one person out there that'll understand what we're talking about.
So I really like them. There's also Team Tundra Esports.
Right.
And what's interesting about them is that, they're based in London.
Right.
So
what?
Yeah, they're
that's the most interesting thing about them.
Yeah, because that means the UK Dota has a shot at the
final. Oh shit! Yeah, fuck! I forgot. UK
Dota
they're
international. They're an international team, though,
represented.
Right.
So they've got a Slovakian, a German, an Israeli, a North Macedonian, and a United States player.
Yes.
So they're fully representing the world.
Yeah. But think about this. Liverpool doesn't have that many English players playing for it. I mean, there's plenty of times in the Premier League that we think of Arsenal as being this great English club or whatever,
this
and then
is true.
None of the players are English or whatever.
So
I mean, there are at the moment. There are
a North Macedonian,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think in that regard, we look at the players like, oh, none of them are from there. It's like, well, hardly any other sport has just players from that area. I'm not saying I wouldn't like that. I'd love to see a UK team in the Final Four of
No, I think it's. I mean, I like that though. I like that the international has that mixed in it, right? You've got these kind of more worldwide teams, and you've got teams that are clearly, playing together in the same language.
Right.
Like this, there was the Peruvian team that got pretty far.
Yeah. Team Thunder Awaken.
Thunder, which is quite funny that
they were devastated, man, when they got knocked out by Liquid. So if you are a casual Dota fan, or someone who's never watched it before and thinks, what are these lads yapping on about? If you look up the VODs, or if you look it up on YouTube, it should be there. There was a series played. Let me find the date for you. It was on October the 23rd. Oh my God! Hold on a sec. Oh my God!
What?
I think that's my wife's birthday. I didn't fucking wish her a happy birthday on her birthday. I don't.
Well, you were watching Thunder Awaken versus Team Liquid.
I
was. Game 1 was particularly good, and Game 3 is definitely a must watch.
Oh, is this one of those things where like she doesn't mention it, and then you travel home and you're
she hasn't mentioned it.
Fuck.
Oh my God! I'm such a bad husband.
Right.
I cannot believe it. Hang on, sorry. I've just got to check that because that's unforgivable.
Well, you have to check if it is your wife's birthday.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't believe I would have forgotten that, but I've literally forgotten.
Maybe it's November. Maybe you're just misremembering.
No, that's my youngest is in November.
Maybe it's December.
Didn't you also have to miss a wedding to go to this event as well?
My sister's wedding, yeah.
Did you send there was
some hesitation around that as well.
Yeah.
So Flax has sacrificed his entire family to
You're gonna get home and your stuff's gonna be like on the side of the road.
All your shirts are gonna be in the road and shit.
Oh. So anyway, if to go back to the point, if you are a casual fan and you want to know what it's all about, if you go October 23rd, Thunder Awaken versus Team Liquid. If the first game of that series is unbelievable, and the third game of that series, the third game is one of the best games that I've ever seen. So good. And as a series, I think this is one of the best 3-game series I've ever seen, especially at TI. So go ahead and check it out. The third game, if you can only watch one, watch the third game. Bear in mind, the third game, it's 1-1, and it's literally, if you lose this, you are going home and watch it. But yeah, seeing that was very hype. And then Team Secret are the fourth team. Team Secret is, of course, Puppy's team. Puppy is
Puppy.
A legend on the Dota scene. To give you some idea about Puppy.
He has been to every TI, right?
He's the only player to have been to every TI. And of course, he won the first TI with Na'Vi, and now he has a chance to win the 11th TI with a completely different team. But to have still been playing,
who is he playing with on Secret? This season?
That is Crystalis, Nisha, Resolution, and Zayats.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's a big roster change.
He changes up his team quite a lot. But it happens in Dota quite a lot, actually, that people
There's a lot of
players around.
That's the thing. At the end of the tournament, you have the after party, and the after party is essentially what they call the Great Fiend, Fiend, the Great Fiend, because the Dota players, they call it the Fiend. I don't know why, but that's what they call it. That's when they all get together. Everybody's in one room. You've got all the players that were playing at TI in one room, and all of them are looking for either a team for next season or players that they can get in and boot some lad who's underperforming to improve their chances. So the post-TI roster shuffle is like unbelievable. It's really, really huge. And it's very exciting for Dota fans. And then, of course, you go into the next season with these whole new lineups, and it takes time for them to find their feet and blah, blah, blah. So it's really, really fun. So that's one thing. And Puppy has always been very good at acquiring players. If you look at the former players, go to the Team Secret on Liquipedia. The team's been around since 2014.
Oh, he's had everyone
2014. Yeah, if you look at a list of players, I think I wrote it out as a question because I had them on the late game show.
Well, when they first formed, they were like a super team, right? Like their first season was like all huge names at the time.
So for those of you who follow Dota, these are the players who've been on Team Secret. Kuroki, who was of course a TI player and legend in his own, TI winner and legend in his own right. S4, a legend. Fly, obviously, big time Dota player. No-Tail, who's won 2 TIs. That was the first team. Kuro, S4, Tal, No-Tail, Puppy, which is insane. He's also had Arteezy, Zai, Forever, Envy, Bulba, Pylodie, 1437, Aoi, Wii, Misery, Universe, MP, Mid-1, Kezu, Yapzor, Ace, Fata, Nisha, Matu, Ice, and Sumail. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, some big names.
Huge names. So, he's amazing at finding talent. But the true talent finder in Dota is Cinderin, who's one of the casters he casts with Sunspan. For a few years there, Escape Gaming or Forward Gaming, I can't remember which it was with him, would basically, he would go out into pub games, find players, and they'd have a go. They'd go to TI, they'd try to qualify, they'd go out first round or whatever. But he a lot of the players that Sind played with on teams went on to great things as well. An unbelievable number. So there's just some guys, they can spot talent.
That's
Interesting,
isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's been around for so long now that it's more of an industry in of itself, like I guess kind of like professional sports became like over, decades and decades of running or whatever. It's interesting.
It's definitely showing its age in both the design of the game, the length of the game, and the game itself, the client. It's definitely like it's definitely tired.
A point that you just mentioned about the length of a game being tied into an hour-long game. I mean, I've been playing Marvel Snap, which to be fair is a mobile game, but man, it's been so good. It's a card game, but the games are so short, like 2 minutes. Like, it's incredible. It's so good. You can play a couple of games on the can, or like you could finish a game in the time it takes for like a kettle to boil. You know what I mean? Like it's just perfect, like to fill like those dumb little wasted times like in the day, like especially if you can't get to your computer or whatever.
It's obviously huge. It's Ben Brode's new game, basically. He designed Hearthstone, which and then left Blizzard to make this, which is great. It's obviously got a lot of money behind it, and it's the PC client is terrible, but apparently they're gonna make it a little bit better. It's kind of hard to play, but it's so it's Babby's first Hearthstone, although it feels a little bit weirdly like Artifact instead, because you've got 3 lanes.
It does, yeah.
You have to win 2 of the 3 lanes.
Yeah.
It's almost like, imagine they took Artifact and they simplified it from 3 screens down to 1 vertical screen.
Yeah.
And managed to actually make it fun and quick. That's the other thing. It's so quick, like, because you both play at the same time, so there's no waiting for the other player to take their turn, which honestly is so. If you took Hearthstone, you were like, okay, how do we speed this up? What's the worst things about Hearthstone? Right, waiting for the other player, that's gone. Playing around stuff, that's all gone. Being able to, like, it's almost got this poker mechanic, so it's called Marvel Snap, because at any point in the game, you can basically double the wager, right? And say, I'm going to lose 2, or win 2 squares, cosmic cubes, whatever the fuck they are, instead of 1. But but your opponent can just fold right there. They can just retreat.
Yeah.
And only lose 1 cube. If they play on, they're playing for 2. If it goes to the end of the game, then you're playing for 4. And if they want to, they can also snap and double it again. So essentially you can play for 8.
Yes. And those are that's your progression, like, through the ranks. So you could get like 8 points towards your next rank if you win, and you bluff it and stuff. It's really good.
So you could definitely lose 8.
Is it fun?
It's super fun.
It's kind of interesting. Because
it's nice.
And in a sense, like, one of the big problems people had a complaint about with Hearthstone was, it's a digital online card game, right? So sometimes there'll be a little location that says spawn a random card, and sometimes you'll get the Hulk, which is a huge 6/12, and sometimes you'll get a 1/1, right?
Yeah.
And in those cases, you're probably going to lose, so you can just quickly retreat and lose 1 cube and nothing lost, right? You don't want to. But if you've got a close game and you think you're going to trick
you can fully commit, or you might have like a really big hand, like play. You might have a big card that is just going to, like, go nuts. And you're,
but also you can potentially bluff them off it. You can snap and they'll be like, oh god, I think I might actually retreat here, which is really a cool idea. Now, I will say, I have won, I think I've played probably about 100 games of it. I have lost, I think, 3 games.
Well,
total.
The game and really eases you in.
Is because you're playing bots. And I still am yet to play, I think, a human.
No. When you get to rank 30, you start playing against people. So it's not long. But
I've never played against anyone who's emoted. And so I feel like that's the signal, right? I always emote hello just to see if it's a player, but no one has emoted back. And I just feel like playing for 3 or 4 hours against bots works if you're an 8-year-old, but for me, I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I can see through it, and it feels scummy. It just feels so scummy.
You don't like it?
I hate it. Well, like Sip says, I'm going to be apparently playing against players at some point, but I know why, because everyone's doing this now, because they found that people don't want to play a game that they feel bad at. They don't want to come and play a game and lose. Like, Fall Guys have added this. They basically found that I might have talked about this already last week or whatever, but they basically added this ranked matchmaking where you're put against people of your skill level so that you don't just lose immediately over and over, because they found that people were just quitting. They were playing 2 games, they were losing, and they were quitting, right? And never going back. But if you win 99 games in a row, you're like, holy shit, I'm the best fucking player at this. I'm amazing. I'm going to keep playing. And that is very addicting. It is very alluring. It keeps you playing.
Yeah.
Even though I knew I was playing Xbox, I kept playing it because I was on that. I almost did it as a morbid winning streak. I was like, how many fucking games of this can I win in a row? You know, coming from Dota where I lose 50% or more of games, you know, and you go on a big losing streak in Dota 2. And those games are an hour long.
Yeah.
You know, it's painful when you're on a 6 or 7 game losing streak.
It's twofold. It gives you, it teaches you how to play the game, but it also helps you gather up some early cards, like progression-wise, because like the way that you get new cards, you don't buy packs like you used to in Hearthstone. You unlock them through like leveling up your account, and the way that you level up your account is by like upgrading like the cosmetic of a card using like an in-game currency that the game just gives you tons of to begin with. So you upgrade a card, and like, you know, it goes from white to green, green to blue, blue to purple, purple to orange, you know, like the World of Warcraft, you know, rarity colors.
By the way,
as you do these
where
upgrades,
did that come from? Where do you think that came from?
I don't know.
I have no idea. Maybe
like green,
maybe
blue,
EverQuest,
purple,
possibly
orange.
I think World of Warcraft was made by a lot of ex EverQuest fanatics and stuff, so could be from that. I'm not sure, but anyway, you so you get the points to upgrade your account, and every 2 points you get for your account, you can unlock a card or unlock currency or whatever. So you want to like upgrade cards to get new cards so that you can make different decks. But like the deck sizes are like, was it like 8 cards, 10 cards in a deck, and it's a maximum of 6 turns. So you basically play like 1 card a turn, like on a curve like you would in Hearthstone, and they all have different like effects or whatever. But you have to win two of the lanes, 2 of the 3 lanes, and the lanes have like a modifier which is random every game as well. And some days or weeks they'll have like an event that, you know, favors one type of lane, so you'll see it more often, sort of thing. Like there's one right now where when you place a card down, because you can have a maximum of 4 cards in a lane. It's called Bar Sinister. You place a card down and it makes 4 copies of that card, but also does whatever that card does 4 times as well. So like it can be like just like massively game swingingly powerful, but it's kind of fun to see the interactions.
Cleverly
as well.
done.
Yeah,
it's cleverly done. So yeah, it's huge. And I mean, the other mega huge game that is disappointing is Overwatch 2.
Oh my god!
I mean, I saw you played some of that. So just like,
don't even get me started.
Oh my god! Like, just I think.
I just want to say, Marvel Snap for me is not disappointing. I've been playing the shit out of it. I think it's super fun. Like, I really like it. It's
I think I don't
really
know how much legs
get
it's got.
into. Yeah,
I think I'm almost spent, but I just you know what I mean. But I think that like it's not deep, maybe not deep enough, but it is throwaway fun.
Yeah,
and I think the another nice thing about Marvel Snap is that your deck only has 12 cards, right?
Yeah,
so it's really easy to do a little bit of deck building yourself. Like with Hearthstone, you have to put 30 fucking cards in there. And it's a whole mess.
Hearthstone's just a bigger game. The game's dragged out for a long time, depending on what was big in the meta and stuff like that. Like it feels like this is just very simple, very fun. You know, not too much of an investment in time and stuff like that. Like you can do as much as you want with it, but like I don't know, it does a lot of stuff right for me. At least it feels like a real dad game. You know?
From a game design perspective, it's good because people enjoy making decisions about 2 or 3 things, you know. And so, you know, you've usually only got 2 options of cards you've got to play, and you've only got 3 places to play them, or sometimes even only 2, or sometimes you only got 1 card and you have to play it there, you know. So a lot of the time, you're not able to think massively ahead.
Another nice thing about it, Flax, you'll probably appreciate this, is if you play it on your tablet or on your phone, and you sign in with your Google account, you can. There's a free-to-play version on Steam as well that you can sign with your Google account, and it's like, so you can play it on your PC and all your.
You'll be obsessed with it by the time you get back, because you were big into the Hearthstone Battlegrounds recently, weren't you? And
Me?
Stuff. So. Yeah.
You
No,
can't
he
be
was
talking
playing.
about me.
What was he playing? Magic. You were playing Magic
Magic the
the
Gathering.
Oh,
Gathering. when you were on
Magic
your trip,
Arena.
right?
Sorry, Magic
right.
Arena. Before we continue, watching Netflix without ExpressVPN is like paying for a gym membership, but only being able to use the treadmill.
Oh, God.
My worst nightmare.
That's right. So here's a couple of examples. If you want to watch Top Gear, that's only on UK Netflix. Inception is only on Canadian Netflix.
Oh, man.
You can watch Jurassic World on Hong Kong Netflix.
Oh, don't do that.
Spirited Away on the Australian Netflix.
That's a good movie.
And Pulp Fiction is also on Canadian Netflix only. So if you're not able to switch to your country using ExpressVPN, you're missing out on all sorts of good stuff.
Plus the bonus of becoming Canadian for a day, eh?
Hey,
Yeah.
watch that Pulp Fiction, eh?
Yeah.
The ExpressVPN won't change your accent.
What's that Pulp Fiction about, eh?
Like some sort of super spy. You've got like 100 different passports in a bank vault, and you can just go to any country in the world digitally. And it works with all the other streaming services too, like BBC iPlayer, YouTube, and more.
It's recommendation from me. I use ExpressVPN and I enjoy it. It works with all your devices, phones, laptops, media consoles. I've got it on my smart TV.
Oh.
And also you don't notice any slowing down or anything. For me, I've never noticed any difference to it being slower than a normal connection. So yeah, you can be smart and stop paying full price for streaming services and only getting a fraction of the content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/Triforce. You can use our link at expressvpn.com/Triforce to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free.
Fantastic.
Today's episode is sponsored by Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your phone
Oh, boy.
or computer. Thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes.
Coupons. My coupon
is
code.
My
a thing
coupons.
of the past. Throw that book away.
My normal system is I keep them in my free hand at all times in case a saving should reveal itself in my day-to-day activity.
Right.
You never know when a saving might spring to action, but it does mean I can't use my left hand. Is there a better way, young man?
It's Honey is digital. Whenever it runs in the background, and whenever you're shopping, it will just pop up and often tell you there's savings. There's savings to be
Savings
had.
to be made with the coupons. I did file a patent for a hat that could contain my coupons, and I would wear it on my head as I went about my business shopping and looking for savings and bargains. I'm glad to know that there is a better way.
I'm sorry to put you out of business.
That's
yeah.
okay. Business was not booming.
Well, really.
Perhaps because we never offered coupons for the coupon hat. That was a mistake on my part.
Well, even if you did, Honey would track them, and you wouldn't need to give them away anymore. The
I'll
coupons.
reconsider
It would just-
reopening the hat factory in that case.
I am constantly doing online shopping, but I never have a promo code ready at checkout, even though I know they exist. This week, I was buying some Christmas jumpers and Christmas hats, and I actually ended up saving about £20 because I didn't expect it, but I had Honey installed on my browser, and it just was like, oh, by the way, you don't have to pay full price for this. So amazing. It just happened automatically. It filled it in, and it worked. Very happy to have saved some money. And if you don't already have Honey, you could straight up be missing out.
Watch the savings roll on in.
Also, by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. I'd never recommend something I don't use. You can get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/Triforce. joinhoney.com/Triforce.
So, how do you feel about Singapore? What do you think of it?
Well,
Do you-
so it's
you like it?
it's a really remarkable city. It feels like, when they have in a sci-fi movie, there's like a futuristic city, and it's always got high rises with these big wide roads, and then like trees and leaves and bushes hanging down off buildings, and it's like they've tried to jam nature into skyscrapers and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
That is Singapore, and
Right.
it really is very, very green, and it doesn't feel like it's like a token effort. It feels more like it is just a part of the way they do things, and it means that everything smells way different from any other city I've ever been to. The air smells nice. It's incredibly clean. There's no city smell. Honestly, it is just a very clean place. You do not see litter anywhere. It's very pretty, and it's very expensive, which is one thing I would say. It is a very expensive city to be out and about in, but it's really gorgeous. And I know quite a few of the guys who've been here a few times are like, man, I'm tempted to move to Singapore, but the issue is it is very, very, very costly. And obviously the part I'm in, which is like the central downtown part of Singapore, it would be like coming to central London and saying, wow, it's so cool and busy and built up here and everything, and not going to the poorer parts of the city. So I really don't think I've seen enough of it.
And you're not allowed to vape there either.
No vaping, so I've been smoking regular cigarettes.
And how does that feel?
Fucking awful.
I bet, yeah.
Absolutely awful.
You can vape like in your hotel room and stuff, though, right?
No.
Nothing.
You're not allowed to bring it into the country. So
Jesus.
This is what I was told ahead of time. And it is the case that if you try to bring vape products into the country and they catch you, it's a $10,000 fine, apparently.
Holy shit.
And apparently they also will cane people for shit like that. So I thought, I ain't fucking about with the Singaporean authorities. I won't bring my vape stuff in. However, I've seen people walking around on the street vaping with those little pens.
All right, yeah.
And occasionally you'll see people vaping, and apparently there's a sort of an underground sort of black market supply for vape stuff. Now, I asked a guy, a Singaporean lad, why this is, and he says that the best answer he can come up with, there are two, obviously, which is the one that most people assume, myself included, that it was because it's too easy to conceal drugs. In a vape pen, it could be CBD oil. There's no way for the police to tell, so they wanted to ban it. The other reason is they can't tax it yet. Like, they haven't figured out a way to tax it the same way they have cigarettes. Supposedly, that's the thing. So I don't know if that's the case, because they could just tax them when they sell them, but there's some issue. And he thought that might be the problem as well. But essentially, it's illegal. So I've been smoking Marlboro menthols because I can't stand the taste of regular cigarettes.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you had like a pack of
Jesus.
Benson Hedges with the dead baby on, didn't you,
Yes.
as well?
So the packets are... The one with the
Christ.
baby is the most disturbing picture I've ever seen. It is a literal fetus, which is really grisly. And the one I've got, this is the pack I'm on right now, has a lad with a giant hole in his neck and loads of gore pouring out of it. But you sometimes get some good ones, like the one of the dad smoking in his baby's face and the baby is looking away and coughing and looking pissed off.
I saw that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Holy
that's
shit.
just a fucking great picture.
What
right?
a great picture, man.
Yeah, it really made me laugh. So, you know, when you're buying them, you can ask the person, "Oh no, not the baby one. Have you got any others?" And they'll sort of hunt around at the back of the shelves for one that's got a less offensive picture on for you. But it's weird. But I'll tell you what, the vibe that you get from smoking in the smoker's corner out the front of the hotel, you really do get chatting to people. It reminded me of being a smoker, and you do get a kind of kinship and chatting with people you wouldn't normally talk to because you just stood there for 5 minutes next to someone. You say, "You right?" And then you get chatting.
I think that's
nice.
the best part of being a smoker or vaping. Like, I haven't vaped in a long ass time now, but I like vaping. Like if I'm away on a trip or whatever, mostly just for that reason. You get to just meet so many people.
You really do
because you're just standing there. You can chat to them and stuff, and it's just it's a real icebreaker. You know,
fellow stinkers.
I've met so many people
boys.
just being outside and smoking.
I gotta say, as much as terrible smoking is, the smokers that I know are some of the coolest people I know. I don't know. It always has had that stupid cool. They advertised it in the 60s.
Sexy, cool,
you know, the
James
cool cowboy.
Dean look.
It is.
I tell you what,
I think
if you're
it's
at a
cool. It's cool.
If you're at a convention,
stupid.
I know, like Lewis just said, like most of the people he knows who smokes are cool, and this is just like an add-on to that. You know, like sometimes if you're outside smoking or whatever, you're at a convention, but particularly if you're at a convention where people know like who you are and stuff like that, you can have really nice like interactions with people because
absolutely,
you're both just doing something in common or whatever, and it's not so like somebody like nervously shaking to say hi to you and stuff like that. It's much more laid back, so it's actually a really nice way to interact with people who watch your content.
Of course, you're both imbibing addictive drugs that are chilling you out.
Yes, exactly,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's I guess it's like medicating the interaction as well.
Yes.
Like
Medicating and lubricating up the interaction a little.
As a weedly asthmatic nerd, I've never really been able to or privy to these kind of cool kid interactions. Just watching from afar,
just get just get some Popeye cigarettes, some candy ones, and just pretend that you're smoking.
just tap the pack.
Yeah, just tap it. And roll it up in your sleeve and stuff when you're done. Pretty good.
Yeah. Just I did have those when I was a kid. Actually, that was. Do they still sell those? They can't. Imagine if they had a picture of a dead baby on.
I don't believe that they do sell those anymore. Actually, I think that they don't.
Well, Popeye cigarettes.
Yeah, like the toy cigarettes that look like a real cigarette.
Ones,
I don't think they do them. Certainly not in the UK. I can't remember the last time I saw them, but they certainly do them over abroad. I'm sure. I mean, geez, you can. I've walked around some of the shops around here. The sweet shops sell all kinds of bonkers stuff. So maybe.
Popeye tasty candy sticks. Maybe they do. Maybe they've renamed it from candy cigarettes to candy sticks.
Yeah, you could get around it. I'm pretty sure you can get around it.
I think they are generally banned. You're right, actually, pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
But people just rebrand these things.
Well, I've been smoking on the balcony.
Oh yeah.
Rather than go all the way downstairs because
you're not tempted to smoke in the boys' room or
the toilet?
You're just sticking to the balcony. Yeah, because
smoking in the toilet.
Smoking it. You can sing the song when you're in there. That's why I'm saying.
That's madness, mate.
Okay, fine.
I mean, because geez, I'd set off a fucking alarm on the balcony. It's for a start, it's incredibly warm here. It's like 30 degrees.
Woo.
It's very humid.
Nice.
Very humid. My God.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, you know what? I'll just smoke on the balcony. I'm sure they don't mind. I was sitting out there. I was on my phone. I was smoking my menthols like a big baby, and I hear this funny little voice like, "Hello, hello," and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I wonder what that is." And I'm like looking around, and I look up, and it's the cleaner has come into the room, and she's just poked her head out the balcony. There I am smoking on the balcony. I was like, stuck it out. She's like, "Here, clean your room." I was like. Yeah. Thanks. And I was like trying to get rid of the smoke and everything, but I don't think she dobbed me in.
I guess you must notice with cigarettes though that it's more of like a contained activity, right? Like you go out, you smoke, you come back in, you're done for a little bit until you go out for another one. I find with vaping, you're just constantly fucking tugging on it all the damn time, like.
Well, I've honestly noticed.
It's like one prolonged session,
But how much nicotine I'm getting compared to smoking cigarettes, because I can smoke a cigarette and it's like, it feels like nothing. Like it feels like no nicotine has gone into my body.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. Because it's like you've really, for a start, pulling on these things is fucking annoying. It's hardly any smoke. When you're used to a giant fucking cloud of vape smoke, you're like this piddly little sort of just tiny little plume of smoke comes out, but they stink. They absolutely stink, and I smell.
They make your teeth and your fucking fingernails and your fingers all yellow.
But it's way easier to subtly smoke than it is to subtly vape. It's impossible to vape subtly, really.
Yeah.
Unless sometimes if you vape and then you blow,
it's fucking impossible.
Like if you blow the vape out as hard as you can, you sort of lose it, but you just end up with this pall of smoke, like a little cloud floating around at floor level and gradually forming this sort of strata throughout the room.
Funnily enough,
with a cigarette, you don't notice.
Those pen vapes, there's far less like cloud that comes out. It's like the big
they're much more
that,
subtle, aren't they?
I've seen a few people.
They're more like inhalers, really, effectively. I mean, I feel like you've got like this is what Tom always said about vaping, is that he didn't want to get into vaping because he only smokes like 1 or 2 cigarettes a day, and they're always like these tiny little rollies. And so if he got into vapes, his nicotine consumption would just go through the roof, and then it'd be very hard to drop to quit the vape.
The other thing as well is if you're vaping indoors, I don't know if you find this, Flax, but when I used to vape in the garage, and it leaves like a fucking film on everything, like a residue, like, and there was just fucking gross like lung juice all over the damn place.
So I've definitely on the window in my office, there's a definite sort of sort of patina from years of
God,
vaping.
Yeah.
this is like a PSA, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
But I will
It
say
is
this.
really
I will
gross.
say this. It was also when I was smoking. I mean, that's even worse. The smell is perpetual, gets into everything. And I used to smoke rollies, and it actually stained my fingers like yellow with the nicotine juice. So, it's probably going in my lungs. It's probably not good for me, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, people are like I've had this conversation recently because, as Lewis mentioned about Overwatch 2, it's not a game I actually enjoy, but I'm kind of addicted to it. So I play it, but like I hate play it. And, people are like, why don't you just stop? Well, because that's not how addiction works.
Right.
You don't just stop. Like that's why you're addicted to something. You keep doing it, even though it hurts you or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it takes a long time to get into that headspace where you can move away from this stuff.
Agreed.
so it says here that it comes from Diablo, right? The rare loot color
Like it's like white, green, blue, purple.
White for normal, blue for
Orange.
magic, orange for unique. But that came from a roguelike, apparently. So the designer took the game from the roguelike video game Angband.
Oh,
The only reason I heard of Angband was because it was mentioned in Ready Player One, which
Terrible.
or might be Ready Player Two. I can't remember, but it was definitely
there's
one
a
of
Ready
these
Player
things that
2?
was. Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't made into a movie.
Alright.
Ready Player
It
One
was-
was dreadful. The book was dreadful.
Oh, you didn't like it?
The book was dreadful.
It was a bit up itself. Anyway, the point is that then what happened was this turned into the Consider system in EverQuest, right? So
Right.
there were a couple of players like Alex Afrasiabi and Jeff Kaplan. I mean, I guess we're talking about, WoW is that there's a really cool article, actually, I just Googled it, on agronaut.com, but it talks a little bit about the EverQuest thing and then the Dark Age of Camelot system as well, because these designers both played EverQuest and Dark Age of Camelot, and so did I.
Yeah.
Before playing WoW, and it was obviously the founding system for what made WoW, and WoW was obviously the game that it was worse than smoking for me, honestly. God,
Wow,
it
yeah.
consumed my entire life. I mean, I'd rather someone had offered me a cigarette back in 2003.
The new expansion is just around the corner. You you dabbling?
I'm doing a sponsored thing at a castle for
I
it.
was meant to.
You got invited.
I was meant to do that.
Sorry,
I can't do it though.
Say that again.
I can't
You're
do
doing a sponsored thing at a castle.
I know, it's come full circle.
Yeah.
It's come full circle. Now they are paying me
To play
to
WoW.
go.
Yeah. Well, we did
as
a
lapsed
sponsored
player
bit for
to go and play
TBC
WoW.
Classic as well, didn't we? I'm sure we did one when
I
that
don't
came
know.
out. Not
We've done
Wrathful.
little sponsor bits over time,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I can't not do something that I've spent so much of my life, interested in, and I know so much about the world. I've actually had some little Taurens and Orcs 3D printed. I'm painting them up.
Nice.
I've got because I'm making like a miniatures game rule set, and I want to be able to play in universes I think are cool, like The Witcher and stuff like this. It'd be really cool to have like a little, because 3D printing is this incredible tool now that we have. Sorry, I just throw this all away at the end of the podcast, but I just feel like there's so much opportunities to make really cool little miniatures models. Oh God, it sounds really nerdy. Actually,
No,
I think miniatures
don't
are my
listen.
modern crack.
Don't worry about what people think of your stupid hobbies. What do we all do? We all play stupid things. We
For
play
most
video
things,
games
I
for a
would
living.
say that, but I would worry about what people think about you.
I don't know. I feel like WoW isn't the cool thing.
If you ever want to get another girlfriend, you're going about it the wrong way. I'm
Jesus
just gonna
Christ,
say.
thank you. No, you're right. I do
Brutal.
need to buck my ideas up. This is the problem, though. I've been hanging out
Buck
on
up your damn
Discord
ideas.
with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm single now, and as you may or may not know, but it's none of your business,
that was
listener.
too soon. Sorry, I just thought it would be funny.
Or
That's pretty cold.
You guys know, but it's my personal life. It's fine. But yeah, I've been hanging out with the old crew. But I think having having a long-term partner gave me a lot of stability, and now I'm living this weird bachelor life where I stay up till 5 a.m. watching Dota and talking shit with everyone.
I gotta say, I'm kind of jealous. Like that's.
But I haven't changed all my other obligations. I still have meetings at like 9 a.m. You know, so I'm going to bed at 5 and get up at 9. Where of course everyone on Discord, all these guys, they don't fucking have any shit to do until 2 p.m. You know, so they're happy to stay up all fucking night.
Yeah.
So I need to either change my work schedule or stop going to bed so late. But it's hard to resist. It's so addictive hanging out with everyone. It's like being at the pub every night. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, just have one more drink or just stay a little bit longer." It's hard to fight these addictions, man, because it's so nice. Everyone's so friendly, and you're having such a great time. You don't want it to end. Yeah, and that was World of Warcraft 2, and there's so many things like that. We are driven by pleasure. We're pleasure apes, you know?
Yeah,
we like
I am
pleasure
for sure,
monkeys.
man.
We just love eating banana and wanking.
But I love pleasure.
You know, we are like fully driven by these. We have to. I've gone off the rails a bit recently, and you know that can happen. But I'm looking forward to getting back on.
It was just your birthday, right? Were you 39 now?
I'm 39 now. Yeah, I'm 40 next year.
Wait, I just hold on.
For your midlife crisis.
I'm feeling like every year of that though.
I've gone off the rails a bit lately, but I'm looking forward to getting back on. I love that so
I love
much.
that Lewis's going off the rails is staying up till 5 a.m. at night and also painting miniatures.
Still getting up for meetings, yeah, in the morning.
But also very calmly saying, "Oh, I've gone off the rails a bit lately, but I'll get back on those rails."
Well,
put it in my journal.
Can't say should.
Gone off the rails a bit today, journal.
The reason I was in Cheltenham and I just got, you know, was on my birthday. I went and hung out with my parents on my birthday. We went and did a mini golf. We had a meal. It was nice. My parents are great. And
would you consider all this to be part of being off the rails as well?
I think.
Are you clumping all of this? Just fucking calm down,
I think
man.
maybe.
Jeez.
If I still had a partner, I think we probably would have done something, but it just felt like, you know, I was on my own. Maybe your wife's gone off the rails on her birthday as well while you've been away.
My wife doesn't have time to go off the rails. Okay, she's
not you. Period's wife who her birthday forgotten about.
My wife, aka the forgotten bride, who I forgot to wish happy birthday to.
Yeah. So you're good. You know.
Do you know what is going to happen? I'm going to call her and apologize, and she'll say, "Don't you remember you gave me a present before you left?" And I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's happened, but I'm so sleep deprived and fucking I've gone off the rails a bit lately, lads, as you know, so I may be wrong. I may have forgotten."
But are you looking forward to getting back on the rails? That's the question.
Sometime soon. Yes, I'd love to get back on the rails.
Well, I think you've been a little bit off the rails this year with your new baby, Sips, because 3 babies has, I think, From my point of view, you have been oftentimes a lot less this year willing to do stuff or come over or do events.
I just can't. Like it would just be leaving my wife so much in the lurch. Like it's just insane.
And I totally understand. That's totally the right thing to do. But I think that when you had 2 kids, it was almost like you were on the rails. You were able to like take a couple of days off to go and do a thing in a castle.
Yeah.
But now it's like,
no, I just can't.
There's either ballet or the horse riding.
Oh my god,
or
man!
The karate,
don't even get me started. The weekends around here recently have just been every day, every minute of every day is accounted for. Somebody needs to be somewhere. I'm driving somebody. I'm picking someone up. Oh man, it's crazy. It's like I never knew. You have a couple of kids and you're like, yeah, it's busy. There's a lot to do or whatever. But then when they start to grow up, holy shit, they want to do a lot of stuff. It's crazy. Like you have to keep on top of it.
Need to get them their own like addictions, like get them sucked on candy cigarettes and e-scooters.
Yeah.
They'll be off spraying graffiti on old Auntie Mabel's, you know, shed in no time. You know, get them out of your hair.
It's my my middle daughter's birthday today. Actually, she's 7 years old, and we got her a Barbie dream house, 75 plus pieces. So guess what I'm doing all afternoon? I'm building really that thing. Actually. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. Actually, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
I bought a few like coloring books and coloring pens.
Oh, nice.
I've been doing these jigsaws. I've been trying to get back into like physical hobbies, like painting stuff, building stuff,
Now, is
Drawing,
this
painting, colouring.
off the rails or getting back on the rails?
This is part of getting back on the rails.
Right. This is the rehabilitation.
Yes.
This is getting the train
path.
back on the rails.
Yeah,
Coloring books.
I'm a bit out of shape.
Oh, man, get some cross stitch in there.
One of the things that we've got happening is obviously Jingle Jam is happening the first 2 weeks of December. That is, I think this podcast, we're a bit delayed because, well, you know when this is being recorded, but Jingle Jam is coming up pretty quick. It's the first 2 weeks of December.
Holy shit.
We've got a really good bundle. I've prepared it all. It's pretty sorted. There's a bunch of people who are going to drop out, but it's currently over $1,000, which is our biggest bundle ever. I'm not announcing that here, but just for hype reasons. I'm very excited about it. Everyone's really excited. We're going to do all the good stuff, and I'm super hyped about everything. Yogs is doing great. Everyone's really happy. PlayUp's a big success. You know, it's a great year for Yogs generally.
Oh, the new
Everyone's
update for
doing great.
PlayUp for the Halloween stuff is really good. We've
got some
really
new
stuff.
staff and new folks in the office like Sarah or Jack who are just super cool, super funny. And Alistair from PlayUp's just a super nice guy. And we've had some really cool creators join, like Lollip. And I don't know, it's just everything. It's a really, really good year.
Is it
for
Lollip?
Yogs. Lollipop GI, yeah.
I thought it was Lollipop
guy.
I've been saying Lollipop Gee.
Lollipop Gee. She is actually so chill. You can say whatever.
Okay.
But I think Lollip is cute.
Lollip, yes.
It's weird. Anyway, we've all got weird names, but I think her name's actually Laura. You can call her that, which is fine if you want to. You don't have to. Laura.
Laura? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Laura.
Haven't met her yet.
I think sometimes it's easy to remember people's names if they sound a little bit like their name. You know, if they
True.
begin with the same letter.
Well,
Yeah.
Harry's an
Chris.
easy one.
Chris and Sips.
Crips.
Yeah, Harry. It's yours is a bit
Chips.
harder, but and I've just given up trying to have an online name at all at this point. I just prefer not
Zephos.
to.
We'll start calling you by your e handle again, Zephos.
But yeah,
Bluesy Foss.
I'm just enjoying having space in the office and I don't know, like we're doing so one of the charities is Movember, and so I'm gonna grow a moustache for November. And I shaved my face today.
You're not.
And I've got such like a chubby little face without the stubble on.
So
Yeah,
this
no,
is you
if I
shaving
don't-
your
if I
face
don't-
ahead of growing out a mustache.
Well, if you're growing a moustache, it really has. You can't have the beard as well, right? You kind of. I don't like the look of like the stubbly beard and moustache, or even like the really trimmed goatee, like the really trimmed stubble with moustache. I don't think that's.
I
a good
mean,
idea, but-
I haven't been clean shaven in a long time, like razor blade shaven.
No, me
But
neither.
When I cut my beard back, like when I shave my head, I cut everything at the same time. And when I do, my face just looks like a fucking big fat red pudding. It's so bad. There's no definition. It's just like a big fucking slab of ham.
It's awful. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, God, I need a haircut. Like, I'm definitely like my skin is all sallow and like.
Man, I ran
blotchy.
out of clean t-shirts the other day, and the only shirt I had in my drawer was like one with no sleeves. It's like, like one of those like. I don't even know why I own this, but it was like one of like those gym shirts, like it just didn't have like any sleeves.
Oh, well, like a basketball shirt.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And so I put it on. It was kind of uncomfortable because I'm not used to wearing it. I didn't even realize I owned it. Somebody must have given it to me or something. Anyway,
Sure.
I walk past a mirror and I catch a glimpse, and I took it off and just went shirtless until my shirts were clean. It was a disgrace. Like, I've never seen anything worse in my life.
Yeah, I do sometimes get horrified by someone taking a picture of me or something that's very unflattering, or I've deliberately made like. But then again, I've got a.
Sleeveless shirts do not suit me. Like,
I went through.
so bad.
I mean, I had that long hair that didn't suit me. I've been putting terrible pictures of myself on the internet. But for years. But what I thought I wasn't doing myself any favors though is like, God, gonna be looking like a fucking thumb with a moustache for the next month. Not that I was planning on going dating or anything anyway. But
I hate myself.
Man, I just had a thought.
I'm-
Don't you find Lewis Flax that Lewis looks like Athene and Seb from Dota had a kid together? Like,
Mixed
he looks
together.
just like he looks like them mixed
Slightly
together
greasy.
perfectly, right?
I don't know.
slightly
Maybe.
Lebanese in some way. Yeah, the Lebanese style.
Well, I don't know. Like, you do kind of. Maybe you've got like some heritage that you're unaware
I think
of.
it's just the dark eyes, the big eyebrows, the dark hair. You know, I think that'll change though, because I was talking to my dad and he was like, "Oh,
now that Brexit's come along, son, foreigners like you will be out the country." Is that what he
said? No, because when he had me, he had black hair for the first year I was born, and then it went completely white.
Yeah, it's the stress
really
of children,
quickly.
mate. It really
and mine
does.
is. He was looking at my hair saying, "Oh, this is the turning point where it starts all going grey."
God, dads are
so
mean, aren't they?
But I've only got half of his genes though, and apparently, my mum's side, all of the men, they had male pattern baldness, obviously, but they did have black hair, at least dark hair.
I think you get you get that from your mum's side, right? Your mum's.
Why would that be the case?
Your mum's
dad. I think that's
and...
gibberish. Why would that be the case?
Do you reckon that's one of those?
I don't know.
Stupid,
I'm not a scientist, unfortunately. But
just explain to me just explain to me the mechanism. I would be intrigued. If anybody out there knows this, go ahead. There's a Triforce mailbag coming up soon. Why is it that we think that that comes from the mother's side? Why? How?
Was your dad bald?
Why just this? My dad. He's got slightly more hair than I have.
Okay. And what about your mom's dad? Was he bald?
I don't know. I never met him.
Oh, ask your mum.
Next
time you talk to her, say,
I don't believe he was. I think he had a fine head of hair.
Right.
But for example,
you're right.
Why that? Why would that one gene only transfer from the female gene?
Some genes are tied to that.
It's the world. Is that true? It's the world's way of doing. It's just a prank, bro. that's the world's just a prank, bro, on all of the young men out there who lose all their hair in their 20s. It's just one of those.
I'd just be curious to find out if it actually is a thing or if it's a load of bollocks.
That's the one for the mailbag.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything
and hold
to
on,
say?
Sorry, Chris, 1 second.
No problem.
Don't email in if you just Googled it. Or if you're just like, I heard, I don't give a fuck what you think. I can fucking Google it right now. I can Google it. I want an actual expert with something interesting.
Maybe these guys are better at Googling than you.
We want experts only.
Yes, please know what you're talking about.
Who've done a more than a cursory Wikipedia.
Yes, please.
You're also talking to someone who is bald, has had a hair transplant, and is considering one. I mean, I'm a wealthy individual, and I want to keep my youthful looks.
You're going for it.
This is what happens.
That should be your Tinder profile. I am a wealthy individual who wants to keep his looks.
Pre-hair transplant Elon Musk. Have you seen the pictures of him? I was just thinking my fucking chubby face.
Do you know what? I was
just looking in the mirror.
I've been watching a documentary series on him it's on BBC Two. There's been 2 episodes of it. It's interesting. I'm not a huge fan of Elon Musk, but
this week he changed his profile to Chief Twit and walked into Twitter carrying a sink. He's like, he's probably going to buy it.
He's an odd fella for sure, but
he thinks he's hilarious.
His
he
story
he's a meme lord.
Is really interesting though, and
he's doing his best.
How many times he came very, very close to just losing it all as well. It's insane.
Yeah.
Well,
you've got to risk it.
When you decide to build a giant tunnel under LA to act to break down traffic, you're kind of putting yourself out there. It's a load of bollocks. Have you looked at this fucking tunnel? It's ridiculous. It's a stupid idea. He had a bunch of stupid ideas.
He's got a bunch of stupid ideas. Well, anyway, I mean, let's not go into it.
How dare you? He's a visionary. People told Tesla he was crazy too. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I got another one for the mailbag for potential people who submit things. There's news yesterday that the EU have basically said to Apple that they can't use their proprietary USB things anymore, the FireWire thing. They have 2 years to switch it to universal USB so that people don't necessarily have to buy the proprietary Apple thing to charge up their phones and stuff. It needs to be switched over to universal USB or whatever.
Yes, I saw
in the
that.
EU. But now that the UK is not part of the EU, does that mean that we're still going to be stuck with the proprietary? There's just no.
We're going to get fucked on all these fucking regulations that would be in the consumer's favor. Yeah. Because they're EU regulations, we won't get them.
I love the EU for stuff like that. It's a real shame.
Yeah, they actually look after the consumer, it seems. But not anymore.
No,
we're on our own.
There you
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can just 3D print our own bits in future.
Yeah, your own FireWire cable.
Here's what Apple will do. The way they removed the headphone jack, and my Google Pixel 6 doesn't have a fucking headphone jack either. What they'll remove is any means to charge the phone. So when it runs out of batteries, you have to throw it away and buy a new one. That would be their dream.
That's what we're
do they
getting
have
to, yeah.
UK plugs in Singapore?
Yes, they do, and they drive on the left.
That's one of the only places in the world, right? Where they drive on the left in Asia, and
so
they have UK plugs.
I looked it up. There are a lot of places in the world that drive on the left. I don't know why I had this in my head that it's wrong. Basically, imagine anywhere that we ever colonized, they drive on the left, and also Singapore
apart from America,
right? Apart from the US, but if you look at and Canada,
I think it's Australia, New Zealand, Japan.
It's a lot. It's a long list. India drives on the left according to the internet.
Ooh.
We used to have that. Yeah, countries that drive on the left.
We
used to have that.
Ours, yeah.
We used to have that. We used to have that.
Yeah, we used to have that.
What a thing to say. I mean, can you imagine, the world was different then. We were a lot stupider. A lot of people were less educated, less woke, less aware, and we were running a country on the other side of the world. The idiots we've got today are a fraction of how idiotic they were back in the day, right?
You reckon?
God, yeah.
I don't know. I think
anything happen.
Well, they had people in charge that just didn't give a shit about anyone that wasn't white and European. It's very easy to run a country when you just don't give a shit about the people in it.
And they still have that mindset today.
Yeah.
So
anyway, on that bombshell, I have to go and eat dinner.
Oh, well,
enjoy yourself.
Go back to bed.
I gotta go build a Barbie dream house.
What a mixed bag of days we have ahead of us. You're building a Barbie dream house. I'm about to go to the food court and then play Dota and keep losing games. We lost so many games. And Lewis, you said you're going to go back to bed.
I'm going to go back to bed.
Is
going back to
bed
Terraforming Mars at 3 fucking a.m. with Monkfish and Daltos.
I was going to say, I thought it was part of your getting back on track by going to bed at 11.
I've got to start. I'm not getting back on track on the rails today.
No, don't get back on the rails.
You're going to stay off the rails for the rest of this week. Maybe next week will be the great re-railing.
Next Monday, I've got an appointment to get back on the rails.
Okay. Rails.
Well, I'm going to the dentist in the morning, so I feel like that'll be like a moment where I'm like, okay, that's going to be the turning point. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck.
All right.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Have a lovely time, everyone.
Peace out.
Sorry about being the dads at the Christmas dinner, but we had to get it out of our systems.
Yeah.
We do this podcast as therapy for ourselves, guys.
I feel great now.
It's liberating.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go pat a dog and pick flowers.
It's off of our chest. We don't have to carry that anymore. If you have something you need to vet, just shout it right now. Just be like,
no,
fuck,
don't.
I hate this.
Email it to me. I want to read these out. I'll make a list of things that people hate.
If you got a thing you're sick of or it's been bothering you, you've been holding it in your head, just send it to pflax.
Flax@gmail.com.
He wants to know about it.
And we'll do it when you're back. Yeah, we want to know about it. All right, good. Therapy. We're going to help you out as well. I like that. I think we can do that. I love you, everyone listening. Thank you to that. Big ups to the guy who gave me passed me the note.
Big ups to him,
and big ups to everyone else. Big ups to the guy who sent me his game.
We can just end it. I'm starving here.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.